The whiskey world is full of marketing myths and overpriced bottles that taste like regret. From celebrity endorsements that can't mask terrible liquid to legendary brands coasting on reputation while serving mediocrity, not all premium whiskey is worth the premium price. Today we're ranking 10 top whiskey brands from absolute worst to best, and some of these results will surprise you. The bottom tier, brands that disappoint. 10. Crown Royal, the Canadian pretender. Crown Royal sits at the bottom of our list as a masterclass in how slick marketing can sell mediocre whiskey to unsuspecting consumers. Launched in 1939 to honor King George VI's visit to Canada, Crown Royal has spent decades convincing Americans that smooth equals good and that purple bags equal premium quality. The reality is far less regal than the packaging suggests. Crown Royal's signature smoothness comes from aggressive filtering and blending that removes most character along with any harsh edges. What you're left with is whiskey-flavored vodka, technically drinkable but utterly forgettable. It's the liquid equivalent of elevator music, inoffensive background noise that adds nothing to the experience. The base whiskey is grain-heavy and industrial, lacking the corn sweetness of good bourbon or the complexity of quality rye. The aging process prioritizes consistency over character development, resulting in a product that tastes the same whether it's been aged 3 years or 12 years. At $25 to $30 for the standard bottle, Crown Royal seems reasonably priced until you realize you're paying for marketing, packaging, and brand recognition rather than quality whiskey. The purple bag is worth more than the liquid inside. At least the bag has practical uses. Crown Royal survives on gift-giving occasions and people who think expensive-looking packaging equals quality whiskey. It's the whiskey equivalent of a participation trophy. Technically whiskey, but not worth celebrating. 9. Fireball Cinnamon. Whiskey? The college mistake. Fireball isn't technically whiskey. It's cinnamon-flavored whiskey liqueur that somehow convinced an entire generation that burning your throat equals having a good time. At 33% alcohol by volume, it's weaker than most whiskeys and tastes like someone dissolved Red Hot's candy in grain alcohol. The base spirit is cheap Canadian whiskey that gets masked with artificial cinnamon flavoring and enough sugar to qualify as dessert. The result is a product that appeals to people who don't actually like whiskey but want to appear sophisticated while drinking what amounts to alcoholic candy. Fireball's popularity peaked during the early 2000s when college students discovered they could drink something that tasted like cinnamon rolls and still claim they were drinking whiskey. The brand rode that wave to massive sales numbers that had nothing to do with quality and everything to do with marketing to people with undeveloped palates. The health concerns are legitimate. Fireball contains propylene glycol, the same chemical used in antifreeze, though in food-safe quantities. The fact that they had to reformulate for European markets because of ingredient concerns should tell you something about quality standards. At $15 to $20 per bottle, Fireball is cheap, but so is vanilla extract, and that would probably taste better in your cocktails. If you want cinnamon flavor in your drinks, buy actual whiskey and add real cinnamon. 8. Jameson Irish Whiskey, the overrated standard. Jameson has become the default Irish whiskey in America through aggressive marketing and widespread availability, but popularity doesn't equal quality. This is whiskey for people who want to say they drink Irish whiskey without actually experiencing what good Irish whiskey tastes like. Jameson's triple distillation process, heavily marketed as superior to other methods, actually strips away much of the character that makes Irish whiskey interesting. The result is a bland, inoffensive spirit that tastes like watered-down grain alcohol with hints of vanilla and absolutely no personality. The standard Jameson is a blend of grain and malt whiskeys that prioritizes consistency and mass appeal over complexity or character. It's designed to offend no one, which means it excites no one either. This is whiskey by committee, technically competent but utterly soulless. At $25 to $30 per bottle, Jameson is positioned as premium Irish whiskey, but it's actually entry-level spirits with premium marketing. You're paying for brand recognition and shelf placement, not superior distillation or aging. The brand survives on St. Patrick's Day sales, and people who think ordering Irish whiskey makes them more sophisticated than beer drinkers. It's the whiskey equivalent of claiming you're cultured because you eat at Olive Garden. The middle ground. Decent, but unremarkable. 7. Maker's Mark. The Wheat Whiskey Wonder. Maker's Mark earns the middle spot as a bourbon that does everything competently without doing anything exceptionally. Their wheat-based mash bill creates a softer, sweeter profile than traditional rye-heavy bourbons, making it accessible to newcomers but potentially boring for experienced drinkers. The red wax seal and hand-dipped bottles create premium presentation that justifies higher prices, but the liquid inside is solid rather than spectacular. Maker's Mark tastes like bourbon should taste. Vanilla, caramel, oak, and spice in proper proportions without any off notes or harsh edges. The consistency is genuinely impressive. Every bottle of Maker's Mark tastes virtually identical, which is remarkable for a product that depends on natural aging processes and environmental variables. This reliability makes it excellent for cocktails and safe for gift-giving. At $30 to $35 per bottle, Maker's Mark represents fair value for quality bourbon. You're getting legitimate Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey made with traditional methods and quality ingredients. It's not exciting, but it's honest. The brand's marketing emphasizes craftsmanship and tradition without making ridiculous claims about superiority or exclusivity. They know what they are, a solid, reliable bourbon, and they don't pretend to be more. 6. Bulleit Bourbon, the rye-forward rebel. Bulleit Bourbon distinguishes itself with a high rye mash bill that creates more spice and complexity than wheated bourbons like Maker's Mark. The 28% rye content gives Bulleit a distinctive bite that works excellently in cocktails and appeals to drinkers who want more character in their bourbon. The flavor profile delivers proper bourbon notes: vanilla, caramel, oak, enhanced by rye spice that adds complexity without overwhelming the base spirit. It's bourbon with personality, which is increasingly rare in a market dominated by focus-grouped blandness. Bulleit's frontier-themed marketing could easily become gimmicky, but the liquid backs up the branding. This tastes like whiskey that cowboys might actually drink. Bold, spicy, and unapologetic about its character. At $25 to $30 per bottle, Bulleit offers excellent value for craft-quality bourbon. The high rye content and traditional aging create complexity that rivals much more expensive bottles, making it a smart choice for both sipping and mixing. The brand has expanded into rye whiskey and 10-year expressions that maintain the quality standards of the original, suggesting genuine commitment to whiskey quality rather than just marketing expansion. The upper tier, brands worth your money. 5. Woodford Reserve, the Kentucky Gentleman. Woodford Reserve represents Kentucky bourbon at its most refined, using traditional copper pot stills and careful barrel selection to create consistently excellent whiskey that justifies its premium positioning. The triple distillation process creates exceptional smoothness without sacrificing character, while the proprietary yeast strain and specific barrel char levels contribute unique flavor notes that distinguish Woodford from other premium bourbons. The flavor profile is complex and balanced. Honey, vanilla, spice, and oak in perfect harmony with a long, satisfying finish that reveals new notes with each sip. This is bourbon that rewards attention and improves with contemplation. At $35 to $40 per bottle, Woodford Reserve costs more than mass-market bourbons but delivers proportionally better quality. The craftsmanship is evident in every aspect from distillation to bottling, creating whiskey that feels special without being pretentious. Woodford's distillery tours and educational materials demonstrate genuine commitment to whiskey education and craft preservation, making them a brand worth supporting beyond just the liquid quality. 4. Redbreast, 12-year Irish whiskey, the Irish excellence. Redbreast 12 proves that Irish whiskey can be complex, characterful, and worthy of serious consideration by whiskey enthusiasts. This single-pot still whiskey represents traditional Irish distillation at its finest. The combination of malted and unmalted barley creates unique flavors unavailable in other whiskey styles, while aging in both bourbon and sherry casks adds layers of complexity that develop beautifully over the 12-year maturation period. The flavor profile is rich and fruity with notes of green apple, honey, spice, and nuts, finishing with lingering warmth that invites another sip. This is Irish whiskey that doesn't apologize for having character and complexity. At $60 to $70 per bottle, Redbreast 12 is expensive but worth every penny for special occasions or serious whiskey appreciation. The quality justifies the price through superior ingredients, traditional methods, and extended aging. Redbreast represents what Irish whiskey can achieve when distillers prioritize quality over mass appeal, creating products that compete with the world's best whiskeys rather than settling for smooth and easy. 3. Rittenhouse Rye, the Spice Master. Rittenhouse Rye delivers exceptional rye whiskey at an almost impossibly reasonable price, proving that great whiskey doesn't always require premium pricing or fancy marketing. The 100-proof bottling strength preserves all the flavor compounds that make rye whiskey distinctive, while the traditional mash bill and aging process create authentic rye character that many higher-priced competitors can't match. The flavor is bold and spicy with notes of black pepper, cinnamon, vanilla, and oak, finishing with warming spice that lingers pleasantly. This is rye whiskey that tastes like rye whiskey should taste: assertive, complex, and satisfying. At $25 to $30 per bottle, Rittenhouse Rye represents extraordinary value in the whiskey world. You're getting craft-quality rye whiskey at mass-market prices, making it accessible to anyone interested in exploring rye's distinctive character. The brand's no-nonsense approach focuses entirely on liquid quality rather than marketing gimmicks, creating whiskey that over-delivers on expectations and builds genuine customer loyalty through performance rather than promises. 2. Four Roses, Single Barrel, the Bourbon Perfectionist. Four Roses. Single Barrel represents American bourbon at its peak, using unique yeast strains and careful barrel selection to create whiskey that showcases what bourbon can achieve when everything goes right. Each bottle comes from a single barrel, meaning slight variations between bottles that create unique drinking experiences while maintaining consistent quality standards. This is bourbon that celebrates individuality within excellence. The flavor profile is complex and evolving. Vanilla, caramel, spice, and fruit notes that change and develop as the whiskey opens in the glass. Every sip reveals new nuances that reward careful attention and appreciation. At $45 to $55 per bottle, Four Roses Single Barrel costs more than standard bourbons, but delivers premium quality that justifies the price. The single barrel selection and quality control create whiskey that competes with much more expensive bottles. Four Roses' commitment to traditional methods, quality ingredients, and careful aging creates bourbon that honors Kentucky's whiskey heritage while pushing quality standards to exceptional levels. 1. Lagavulin 16, the Smoky Champion. Lagavulin 16 takes the top spot as whiskey that delivers an unforgettable experience impossible to replicate anywhere else in the world. This Islay single malt Scotch whiskey represents peat smoke, maritime influence, and traditional Scottish distillation at their absolute finest. The 16-year aging process in oak casks allows the intense peat smoke to integrate with vanilla, honey, and sea salt notes, creating complexity that reveals new layers with every sip. This is whiskey that demands attention and rewards contemplation. The flavor profile is bold and uncompromising. Intense peat smoke balanced by sweetness and spice, finishing with lingering warmth and maritime character that transports you to the Scottish coast. Love it or hate it, you'll never forget it. At $80 to $100 per bottle, Lagavulin 16 is expensive but represents genuine luxury in the whiskey world. The quality, complexity, and unique character justify premium pricing through superior craftsmanship and irreplaceable terroir. Lagavulin proves that great whiskey can be challenging, distinctive, and uncompromising while still being supremely enjoyable. This is whiskey that doesn't chase mass appeal, but creates devoted followers who understand that some experiences are worth paying for. Conclusion: the whiskey world is full of marketing myths and overpriced mediocrity, but genuine quality still exists for those willing to look beyond brand recognition and flashy packaging. The worst whiskeys survive on marketing budgets and consumer ignorance, while the best earn their reputations through superior craftsmanship and uncompromising quality standards. Choose whiskey based on liquid quality rather than brand prestige, price point, or marketing claims. The best whiskeys speak for themselves through flavor, complexity, and memorable drinking experiences that justify their cost and create lasting appreciation. Your palate will thank you for choosing substance over style, and your wallet will appreciate getting genuine value rather than paying for corporate marketing campaigns disguised as premium spirits.